The crushing weight of exhaustion is something that slowly creeps up on you, taking its toll without you even realizing it at first. You wake up feeling drained, your energy depleted even though you've just woken up. You move through your day like a zombie, going through the motions, feeling like you're sinking deeper with every task you take on. It isn't just the body that suffers. It's your mind and your soul. You become disconnected from yourself, unable to find joy in anything you used to love. You can't think clearly, and your will to keep going fades with every passing day. The weight becomes unbearable. But here's the thing, this doesn't have to be your life. I've been there. I know exactly what it's like. There was a time in my life when burnout had consumed me. I poured everything I had into work, into relationships, into everything but myself. I kept pushing harder, giving more, believing that if I just worked harder, everything would eventually fall into place. But it didn't. The harder I pushed, the more I broke, until one day I hit rock bottom. And I had nothing left, no energy, no will, no passion for the things that once filled me with purpose. But hitting rock bottom didn't mean the end. It was the wake-up call I needed, and let me tell you, it was a turning point. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in your own stress? You get to a point where every task feels like it requires all of you, and yet you're still not making progress. You feel overwhelmed, stretched thin by the weight of expectations. It's like a constant pressure weighing down on you, telling you that you need to do more, be more. But no matter how hard you try, it feels like you're stuck, like you're treading water with no way out. The thing is, this doesn't have to be your future. You don't have to continue down this path. You don't have to live a life controlled by burnout and stress. You can break free from it. Here's what I've learned. It doesn't take a miracle to break free. What you need is a strategy, a simple, powerful strategy that will shift your life from exhaustion to fulfillment. It's about focus. It's about intentionally choosing what matters most to you and letting go of everything else. It's about setting boundaries and taking small, consistent actions every single day. I can tell you that if I had known this simple strategy when I was struggling, it would have saved me years of pain. It doesn't matter where you are now. What matters is that you choose to take action. Today, burnout is a devastating experience, but it's also a wake-up call. If you're feeling burnt out, it's your mind and body telling you that something has to change. The first step is acknowledging the signs, recognizing that you're not just tired, you're burnt out. That feeling of emptiness, of not knowing who you are anymore, it's a crisis of the soul. But let me make something very clear. It doesn't have to be permanent. Recognizing burnout is the first step to breaking free from it, and the second step is choosing to act. Burnout manifests itself in many ways, and it's important to recognize the signs before it completely overwhelms you. Maybe you feel like you're walking through life in a fog, unable to connect with anything or anyone. Perhaps you've noticed a growing sense of irritability, like everything and everyone is getting on your nerves. Or maybe you've begun to feel emotionally numb, unable to get excited about anything or anyone. These are the warning signs, and if you ignore them, you risk falling deeper into the cycle of burnout, where things only get harder. But it doesn't have to get worse. You can recognize these symptoms and you can do something about them now. Burnout isn't just a matter of fatigue. It's a crisis of the soul, and it's one that affects every part of your being. It starts small, a slight dip in energy, a loss of motivation, but over time it chips away at your sense of purpose and fulfillment. It becomes a toxic cycle where you give everything you have but never receive anything back, and the longer you ignore it, the more damaging the consequences will be. If you don't address burnout, it won't just stay the same, it will continue to rob you of everything that makes life worth living. If you don't control it, it will control you. Now, I want you to ask yourself something. Are you trapped in a cycle of burnout? Maybe you've felt the weight of exhaustion for too long and haven't known how to break free. But I promise you, you can break the cycle. It starts with awareness. It starts with choosing to change. And it's never too late to begin. The moment you realize that you can't keep going the way you are, something powerful happens. You hit your breaking point, the point where you finally accept that you need a change. For me, that moment came when I realized that the life I was living wasn't serving me anymore. I couldn't keep up the pace. I couldn't keep running on empty. And when I hit that wall, it was like a switch flipped. I knew that I had to choose a new path. That wake-up call was painful, but it was also necessary. It's easy to ignore the warning signs. It's easy to keep pushing, thinking that you can handle it. But when you finally realize that you can't keep going like this, the clarity that follows is nothing short of life change. You realize that you're the one in control. You don't have to let burnout take over. You don't have to stay stuck. You can decide right now that you're done. That's when the real transformation begins. It was this simple realization that started me on my path to recovery. I accepted that something had to change. I couldn't keep going the way I was. And from there, I began making small, focused changes that eventually turned my life around. The first step, I made the decision to stop pushing myself into the ground every single day. That was the beginning of my breakthrough. What I want you to take from this is that transformation doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a miracle. What you need is focused action. It's about choosing what matters and cutting out everything else. It's about saying no to the distractions, setting boundaries that protect your energy, and taking small, manageable steps each day toward a life that feels fulfilling again. Ask yourself, what is the one thing you need to focus on today? What's the one thing that can help you begin to break free from burnout? Maybe it's learning to say no to the things that drain you. Maybe it's committing to one small action that moves you toward a life of balance and peace. But start today. Don't wait. Don't let the cycle continue. You have the power to break free. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? Let me tell you something. Burnout isn't solved by working harder. If you think you need to put in even more hours or sacrifice even more of yourself, I'm here to tell you that's not the answer. The key to overcoming burnout is working smarter, not harder. And how do you do that? Focused action. It's about redirecting your energy to what truly matters and cutting out the noise. Stop spreading yourself so thin, because the more you stretch yourself, the more you'll burn out. When I hit my lowest point, I realized something powerful. I wasn't getting ahead by working more. I was sinking deeper into the hole by trying to do everything. The truth is, you cannot do everything. And that's okay. You don't need to do everything, but what you do need to do is focus on the few things that really matter. When you cut out the distractions and focus your energy where it counts, that's when things start to shift. Listen, I get it. You've got a million things on your plate and you feel like every single one of them is important. But here's the thing, you can't keep juggling everything forever. If you keep trying to balance it all, you're going to drop something. More likely, you'll drop yourself. Burnout happens when you try to do it all. You can't be everything to everyone, and you can't accomplish every task in one day. Stop spreading yourself thin. It's time to focus on the one or two things that really move the needle in your life. What is the most important thing that if you focused on it would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Is it your health, your career, a relationship? Identify it and then pour your energy into that. When you do, everything else will either fall into place or fade away, and you'll feel more fulfilled, not more exhausted. Let me tell you this, boundaries are not selfish, they're essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you want to give your best to others, your family, your friends, your colleagues, then you have to start with giving your best to yourself. That means setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away, they're about protecting your mental and emotional resources. It's about saying no, I can't do that today because I need to recharge. It's about carving out space for yourself so you can show up as your best self. You can't give your all if you're running on empty. Set boundaries and stick to them, not for selfish reasons, but because it's the only way you can keep giving without losing yourself. You've got a mountain of things to climb, right? And right now, it feels like that mountain is too high to even begin the climb. But here's the secret. You don't climb a mountain in one step. You climb it one step at a time. The key to overcoming burnout is not tackling everything at once. It's about breaking your goals down into manageable daily steps. Every small step you take builds momentum. Every action, no matter how small, is progress. One step at a time and you'll get to the top. Don't worry about the whole journey. Just focus on today. What's the one small thing you can do today that will get you closer to where you want to be? Now, here's the hard truth. You can't keep going at full speed without eventually burning out. You cannot pour from an empty cup. The mistake many of us make is thinking that we can just keep pushing and pushing, but the reality is, without rest and recovery, your energy will drain faster than you can replenish it. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Your body, your mind, and your spirit need time to heal and recharge. You need quality sleep, downtime, and moments of stillness. Build rest into your daily routine Don't wait for it to be a reward after you've overworked yourself. When you take time to restore your energy, you give yourself the fuel you need to keep going. So here's the truth. If you want to break free from burnout, you have to prioritize recovery. You have to make rest a non-negotiable part of your life. And when you take care of yourself first, you're able to take care of everything and everyone else with a clear mind, a full heart, and a renewed sense of purpose. Now, I want you to reflect for a second. What's the one thing you need to focus on right now? The one thing that, if you gave it all your attention, would make everything else easier or unnecessary. Maybe it's your health, maybe it's your career, maybe it's your relationships, but whatever it is, focus on it, cut out the noise, eliminate the distractions. If you want to break free from burnout and live a life of fulfillment, it all starts with focus. Let me tell you something powerful. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. The way you think, the mindset you choose to adopt determines everything. When you shift your mindset, you shift your entire life. The difference between staying stuck in burnout and breaking free from it is all in your head. Your mindset is the key to overcoming burnout and achieving breakthroughs. When you change how you think about your challenges, you change how you experience them. You are the architect of your life, and your mindset is your blueprint. Now, listen up. If you've been seeing yourself as a victim of burnout, you need to stop. When you view yourself as a victim, you give away your power. You surrender to the idea that things are out of your control. You're not a victim of burnout. You're a victor. You get to decide how you respond to life. You get to decide how you overcome challenges. You have the power to change your reality. Shift from a victim mentality to a victor's mindset. See yourself as someone who can rise above the challenges, who can overcome anything that comes your way. When you take that mindset on, you take back your power, you become unstoppable. Let me say it again, your worth is not tied to how much you do. We live in a society that tells us our value is tied to our productivity, but I'm here to tell you that you are valuable simply because you are you. You're not defined by how much you accomplish or how busy you are. Your worth is in your essence and who you are as a person. Your value doesn't come from what you do, it comes from who you are. Stop tying your self-worth to your output. Whether you're working 80 hours a week or 40, whether you're hitting all your goals or struggling to make progress, your worth doesn't change. Let's talk about the challenges you're facing right now. Are they obstacles or are they opportunities? The challenges you face are the soil in which your resilience grows. The struggles you're facing right now, those moments where you feel defeated, they are not the end of the road. They are the beginning. Reframe your challenges as opportunities. Each difficulty you face is a chance for you to grow stronger, to build resilience, and to prove to yourself just how far you can go. It's all about perspective. If you choose to see the struggles as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks, you will turn them into the fuel that powers you forward. The breakthrough came when I realized that to escape burnout, I didn't need 1,000 solutions. I didn't need more advice, more tips, or more tactics. What I needed was one simple solution: focused, intentional action. You see, the problem with burnout is that we often try to fight it with chaos. We look for a million ways to solve it, but that only keeps us trapped in the cycle. What if I told you that breaking free from burnout doesn't require complex solutions? What if I told you that the key to overcoming it is something simple yet powerful? Focused action. This is the game changer. Prioritization, boundaries, and taking action. These three principles are not just abstract ideas. They are practical steps anyone can take to get their energy and their life back on track. And let me tell you, once you put these into practice, you'll be amazed at how much progress you can make in the midst of burnout. It starts with focus, it starts with action. In order to break free from burnout, I had to build my actions around three simple yet powerful principles: prioritization, boundaries, and taking consistent, deliberate action. These three pillars form the foundation of focused action. They are the driving force that keeps you from spinning your wheels and keeps you moving forward even when everything around you feels overwhelming. When you break them down, they're not abstract concepts, they're things you can implement in your life today. They're not just ideas, they're tools that will help you break free from the cycle of burnout. Let's start with prioritization. If you want to regain your energy and clarity, you have to start by choosing what matters most. This is the first and most important step. When you're in burnout mode, everything feels urgent. Every email, every task, every person, every expectation feels like it's demanding your attention. But here's the truth, not everything deserves your time and energy. Not everything should be on your to-do list. In fact, the more things you add to that list, the more you stretch yourself thin and the quicker you burn out. So I had to take a step back and really evaluate what mattered. What things were truly moving me forward? What goals, tasks, or relationships deserved my time and attention? It wasn't easy at first. Saying no was uncomfortable. But I soon realized that when I focused on what mattered, everything else fell into place. I stopped feeling overwhelmed because I stopped trying to do everything. The power of prioritization is this: it brings clarity. It allows you to eliminate the noise and focus on the one or two things that really move the needle in your life. Ask yourself this: what would happen if you stopped trying to do everything and started focusing on what truly matters? Think about it. What would happen if you started saying no to things that drain you and started saying yes to the things that bring you purpose and energy? That's the power of prioritization. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it with more purpose and intention. But here's the catch: you can't prioritize without boundaries. You have to protect your energy like a warrior protects their fortress. Boundaries are not just a nice to have, they are essential. Boundaries are the key to preserving your mental and emotional health. Without them, burnout creeps in, and before you know it, you're completely drained. But here's the problem: many people fail to set boundaries because of fear. Fear of disappointing others, fear of guilt, fear of missing out. I get it, it's hard to say no. But here's what I learned. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. They're not just limits, they're a form of self-care. Imagine this: boundaries are like a fence around your most valuable garden. Your energy, your time, and your peace are precious, and you need to defend them. You wouldn't let weeds of exhaustion, negativity, and distraction take over your garden, right? So why let them take over your life? Let me ask you, how often do you say yes to things that drain your energy? How often do you let people or tasks take your time and attention when they should be protected? What would happen if you started saying no? What would happen if you stopped giving away your energy to things that don't serve you? Setting boundaries is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's not about being rigid or unkind, it's about protecting your peace and your well-being so that you can show up as your best self. Now, here's the truth about progress. It's not always about instant results. In fact, trying to fix everything at once is one of the quickest ways to burn out. I stopped trying to do it all at once. I realized that trying to fix every problem, every challenge, every stressor at the same time was setting myself up for failure. I had to start taking it one step at a time, slow, deliberate progress over instant results. It's about consistency, not perfection. It's about showing up every day and taking small actions that add up over time. Overwhelm paralyzes progress. When you look at the mountain of things you have to do, it's easy to feel stuck. But instead of trying to climb the whole mountain in one leap, focus on taking one small step at a time. This is where most people go wrong. They want to solve everything right away, but they end up burning out in the process. Slow, steady progress is more sustainable than trying to fix everything in one go. Let me ask you, are you trying to solve everything at once? Or are you breaking your goals into manageable pieces? One step at a time is the key. It's the small actions, the daily commitments, the small wins that will build the momentum you need. Remember, it's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about creating sustainable, gradual change that will keep you moving forward. Here's the real truth. When I adopted this strategy, I didn't see results overnight. I didn't wake up the next day feeling completely energized and on top of the world. But over time, I started to feel a shift. I began to notice that my energy was returning little by little. I stopped feeling like I was just surviving and started feeling like I was thriving. I began to enjoy my work again, and my life started to feel like it had purpose. Focused action changed everything for me. It wasn't a magical overnight transformation, but it was a steady, powerful change. The truth is, progress is gradual. It doesn't happen in a day, but over time you begin to see the fruits of your efforts. It's not about perfection, it's about moving forward, one step at a time. Here's the hard truth. If you don't take control now, burnout will control you. It's not a matter of if, It's a matter of when, and when it comes, it will be harder to climb out than you think. Ignoring burnout only makes it worse. The longer you wait, the deeper you'll sink. You have to take action now before it consumes you. The consequences of inaction are severe. Your health, your relationships, your happiness, they all suffer. Don't wait until you're too deep in the hole. Take control now, before burnout controls you. The solution is simple. Focused action. Prioritize what matters. Set boundaries. Take one small step at a time. That's how you break free from burnout, and that's how you reclaim your life. The strategy isn't just about actions. It starts in your mind. You have to believe you're capable of more. You have to trust that you can bounce back from anything, no matter how burnt out or beaten down you feel right now. Your mindset is the foundation of every breakthrough. Without it, no action, no plan, no strategy will work. The way you think shapes the way you act, and your actions shape your outcomes. If you want to break free from burnout, if you want to reclaim your energy and purpose, it starts by shifting your mindset. You have to believe that your current situation doesn't define you. The mental shift you make today will influence every choice you make moving forward. It's not just about doing something differently, it's about thinking differently. If you can change how you see yourself, how you see your circumstances, you can change everything. Ask yourself this: what do you believe about your own potential? Are you holding on to the belief that you're capable of more? You are capable of more than you think. You just have to start believing that. Stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your own story. No one else can write your narrative but you. If you're feeling burned out, it's not because life has done this to you. It's because you've allowed yourself to fall into a cycle. But here's the good news: you have the power to break out of it. A victim mentality keeps you stuck. It keeps you helpless, waiting for something outside of you to change. But a victor mentality, a victor takes full responsibility for their life. They take ownership of their choices, their actions, and their mindset. A victor looks at the challenges in front of them, acknowledges them, and says, I can overcome this. When you shift from victim to victor, you reclaim your power. You stop blaming the world, your boss, or the circumstances around you. You recognize that you have everything inside of you to rise above it. It's not easy, it takes work, but it's possible. You just have to believe that the power to change is within you. Ask yourself, are you living as a victim of your circumstances, or are you stepping up to be the victor of your own life story? Change your language, change your thoughts, reclaim your power. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Your mindset is everything. The way you perceive a challenge can be the difference between defeat and victory. What you see as a roadblock can actually be a stepping stone. It's all about perspective. Think about this: a diamond doesn't shine until it's put under pressure. The same is true for you. The hardest moments, the moments of struggle and adversity, often bring out your greatest strengths. But you'll never see those strengths if you choose to see the challenge as something that's meant to break you. Instead, see it for what it truly is: a catalyst for growth. The obstacles you face don't have to hold you back. They can propel you forward if you let them. What if you started to see every obstacle as an opportunity for growth? Every challenge as a chance to become better, stronger, wiser? What if you started to embrace the tough moments as the very things that shape you into the person you're meant to become? Your mind is like a garden. The thoughts you plant today are the ones that will grow tomorrow. If you plant weeds, only weeds will grow. But if you plant seeds of positivity, resilience, and determination, that's what will bloom. The mind is a fertile ground, and you get to choose what you nurture. So what are you planting in your mind every day? What thoughts are you feeding? Are they empowering you, or are they holding you back? Every time you let negativity take root in your mind, you're allowing weeds to grow. And just like weeds in a garden, negative thoughts can take over if you don't address them. But here's the good news. Just as you can pull weeds, you can plant seed. You can choose to fill your mind with empowering thoughts. You can choose to believe in your potential. You can choose to think of challenges as opportunities for growth. Just as you wouldn't leave a garden untended, don't leave your mind untended. Take control of what you let grow there. Ask yourself, what seeds are you planting in your mind every day? Are they empowering you or holding you back? If you want to see change in your life, you have to start with what you plant in your mind. The moment you stop doubting your abilities is the moment you open the door to new possibilities. Self-doubt is one of the biggest obstacles to breakthrough and growth. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of indecision, fear, and procrastination. But here's the truth. You are capable, you are worthy, you are more powerful than you realize. The key to overcoming self-doubt is to stop listening to the negative voices in your head, the voices that tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you can't possibly succeed. Those voices are lies. They are the shadows that fade when you step into the light of your true power. Every time you challenge your limiting beliefs, you take one step closer to unlocking your potential. Every time you replace self-doubt with self-belief, you create space for new opportunities to enter your life. Your mind is your greatest asset. You have to start using it to your advantage. Are you ready to step into the light? Are you ready to let go of the doubts and fears that have been holding you back? The moment you stop doubting your abilities is the moment you start to see what you're truly capable of. Ask yourself, are you ready to let go of those old stories you've been telling yourself, the stories that say you're not good enough, that burnout is your fate, that you can't change? It's time to rewrite that narrative. You don't have to keep playing the role of the victim. You can choose to be the hero of your story. It's time to rewrite your story. It starts by changing the narrative you've been telling yourself. When you change your mindset, you change your reality. And when you change your reality, you unlock a future full of possibility and growth. Let today be the day you stop doubting and start believing. Let today be the day you choose to be the victor. Let today be the day you plant seeds of greatness in your mind. Because when you change your mindset, you change your life. Resilience isn't about avoiding hard times. It's about how you bounce back from them. It's your ability to adapt, to rise stronger after every setback. Life will test you. It will challenge you. But resilience is the power that allows you to recover and push forward, no matter how many times you fall. It's not about being invincible, it's about being able to get up every single time life knocks you down. Resilience is the ability to stay standing even when it feels like the world is pushing you to your knees. It's the quiet strength that rises from the ashes, the determination to keep going even when every part of you wants to quit. Resilience doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. And let me tell you something, resilience is not just for the extraordinary, it's a skill anyone can develop. You don't need to be born with a natural ability to bounce back. You can learn it, you can strengthen it. When you're exhausted, when you're emotionally drained and burned out, it's resilience that will keep you going. It's the tool that helps you rise again. So ask yourself, do you have the strength to rise after a fall? What does resilience mean to you in your daily struggles? Resilience is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Let me tell you something. I've failed. I've fallen flat on my face. And I've had times when I thought I couldn't get up. But resilience is what helped me get up every single time. It's not about never failing. It's about learning from failure and pushing forward. Take a look at someone like Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, yet he was cut from his high school basketball team. He didn't let failure stop him. He used it, he learned from it, he worked harder, and he came back stronger. Failure didn't define him, it refined him. And that's what resilience does. It allows you to learn from your mistakes and turn them into opportunities. It helps you see setbacks as stepping stones, not barriers. So when burnout has you down, when you feel like you've given all you've got, resilience is the power that helps you rise again. So I want you to think about this. What moment in your life tested your resilience? How did you overcome it? And what did you learn that made you stronger? Resilience doesn't just give you the strength to stand up. It helps you stand taller. Failure is not the end, it's an opportunity in disguise. Every setback can be the fuel you need to rise even higher. I want you to remember this, the greatest growth happens in the hardest moments. The most valuable lessons come from the struggles. You are not defined by your failures, you are refined by them. Think of a phoenix rising from the ashes. That bird has to burn before it can rise again. It's not the ashes that hold it back, it's the foundation for something even greater. It's what failure does for you. It lays the groundwork for something stronger, something better. When life knocks you down, don't look at it as the end. See it as the beginning of something new. See it as the moment you get to grow. Because every setback, every challenge is an opportunity waiting to propel you forward. How can you reframe your recent setbacks? Instead of seeing them as failures, can you view them as lessons waiting to propel you forward? Embrace them, learn from them, let them fuel your growth. Resilience isn't just a moment of glory after a battle. It's something you practice every single day. What you do in those small everyday moments will determine your ability to bounce back when the bigger challenges hit. Resilience is developed in how you respond to stress, how you manage setbacks, and how you choose to keep going when you feel like quitting. It's not just about how you handle the big storms. It's about how you weather the everyday rain. Start small. Practice self-compassion. Set boundaries that protect your mental and emotional well-being. Focus on solutions, not problems. Every day you choose to respond positively to setbacks, every day you choose to rise after a fall, you're strengthening your resilience. It's like building muscle. You don't get strong overnight, but with every rep, with every push, you get one step closer to the strength you desire. Resilience is not an innate trait, it's something you build over time. So ask yourself, what small everyday actions could you take right now to build your resilience? What changes can you make in your mindset that will help you push through tough times? Every little action counts. Every small step towards resilience makes you stronger. Are you ready to build your resilience muscle every day, even when life is throwing everything at you? Are you ready to get back up after every fall? Building resilience doesn't happen overnight, but every small choice you make to bounce back will bring you one step closer to the person you want to be. Each day is an opportunity to get stronger, to grow, and to build the resilience that will carry you through life's toughest moments. Are you willing to commit? Are you ready to take responsibility for your resilience? This is your life, and you have the power to make the choice to rise. Every day you get to choose how you respond. Every day is a chance to get back up. Let's do this. It starts now. You can break the cycle of burnout. But it starts with a decision. You have to choose a future where you prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. You've been on this path for far too long. The exhaustion, the frustration, the constant feeling of running on empty. It's a cycle that can feel impossible to escape, but let me tell you this, it's not your destiny. You can change it. The cycle of burnout starts slowly. It creeps in when you don't pay attention to your limits. At first, it feels like you're just pushing through, doing what needs to be done, but then it deepens. The weight gets heavier. You start to lose your energy, your enthusiasm, the pressure builds, and soon it's overwhelming. It feels like you're stuck, trapped in a loop of constant hustle, feeling like there's no end to the grind. But that's not the future you have to live. You can choose something different. You can break free. But that change begins with a decision. It starts with you deciding to prioritize your well-being over the endless demands. You have the power to choose a life where you aren't just surviving, but thriving. A life where your mental and emotional health comes first. This is your chance to stop the cycle and start a new chapter. So I ask you, how does your future look if you continue the path you're on right now? Are you ready to choose a new future for yourself? The decision is yours. Now, make it. It's not about big changes, it's about small, consistent actions. Every single day you make a choice to step forward. No matter how small that step is, it's progress. Listen, overcoming burnout and creating a new future doesn't require drastic change overnight. You don't have to overhaul your entire life today. What you need is steady, consistent progress. Change happens when you take small, manageable actions each day. Little by little, those actions will build up and create the momentum that propels you toward a new, more balanced life. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small, barely noticeable. But as it gathers more snow, it grows, it picks up speed, and before you know it, that little snowball has turned into something much bigger, something powerful. That's how small daily steps work. They compound, they accelerate, they build until one day you wake up and realize you've created a completely new future for yourself. Start small. Maybe it's saying no to an extra commitment that you really don't have the energy for. Maybe it's scheduling just 10 minutes a day to reset your mind. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who's been draining you. Each of these steps, no matter how small, will add up over time. So I ask you, what small intentional step can you take today that will move you closer to breaking the cycle? What's the first thing you're going to do to make that choice? Think about it. Choose one thing and commit to it right now. This is how it begins. Now I want you to imagine something, close your eyes, and picture your life after you've broken free from burnout. Picture it vividly. What would your life look like if you took consistent, intentional action every single day? How would your energy change, your mindset, your relationships? I want you to really see it. Imagine waking up every day feeling energized, not drained. Imagine having a clear, focused mind that allows you to make decisions with confidence. Picture your emotional state being stable, calm, and centered instead of anxious and overwhelmed. Visualize deeper connections with the people who matter most to you because you have the energy and presence to give. This is what your life can look like. This is what's waiting for you if you commit to making those small daily choices. The life you want. The energy, the peace, the fulfillment is already within your reach. It's just waiting for you to decide to go after it. So I ask you, can you picture a life where you're energized, focused, and at peace with yourself? What would that feel like on a daily basis? Now here's where the rubber meets the road. It's time to act. It's time to commit. I want you to make one commitment today, one small step that will lead to your breakthrough. Choose it now. Don't wait. Don't put it off. The first step toward breaking the cycle of burnout starts with a decision to take action. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to make progress. No matter how small, even the smallest step in the right direction is better than staying stuck. Maybe it's scheduling that break you've been putting off. Maybe it's setting a boundary at work so you're not overloaded. Maybe it's deciding to unplug from technology for an hour each day to give your mind a chance to rest. Whatever it is, make that commitment. Right now, the power to change your reality is in your hands. Your future doesn't have to look like your past. You have the power to shape a new future, but it starts with taking action. So I ask you, what will your first small step be? What commitment are you making today that will start you on the path to breaking the burnout cycle? Don't wait for tomorrow. The time to act is now. Take that first step. You've got this. You don't need a miracle. What you need is focused, intentional action. It's time to stop waiting for something outside of yourself to change. You have everything within you to create the life you want. The strategy is simple. Prioritize what truly matters. Say no to distractions, set boundaries, and most importantly, take one step at a time. Let me break it down for you. This isn't about completely overhauling your life or trying to do everything all at once. True transformation happens when you focus on what truly matters. It's about identifying your priorities and giving them the attention they deserve. When you do that, everything else starts to fall into place. This strategy works because it's real. It's not just a theory. It's how you escape burnout and begin to build a life that actually fulfills you step by step. It's not about making everything perfect overnight, but about making consistent progress, even if that progress seems small at first. And here's the key. You are fully capable of doing this. You have the ability to choose. You have the ability to take control of your life and make changes that matter. Even the smallest of steps, when they're intentional, will lead to monumental changes over time. So, let me ask you, how much progress could you make if you started focusing your efforts only on what truly matters, one step at a time? The power to transform your life is in your hands. Burnout is not your destiny. It's a signal that something needs to change, and that change starts with you. You don't have to accept burnout as your permanent state. You can change direction. You can rise above it. I know burnout feels like a heavy weight, like you're trapped in a never-ending cycle, but I want you to hear this. It's not the end of the road. It's an opportunity for growth. Burnout is a message from your body and mind saying, hey, something needs to shift. And that shift starts with you taking control of your life. This is where the power lies. You get to choose. You get to decide that burnout will not define you, that it will not control your future. You can choose to step into your breakthrough, and that breakthrough can be bigger than you ever imagined. But here's the tough love. Burnout won't just magically disappear. It's up to you to take the steps necessary to reclaim your energy, your passion, and your joy. This is on you. If you want to move beyond burnout, you must take action, and you must do it now. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? How long are you going to let burnout control you instead of taking back control of your life? The power to change your future is right in front of you. Will you grab it? Remember this, the only way out is through. Your breakthrough is waiting for you, but it's not going to come to you. It's up to you to go after it. Take that first step today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. That moment is now. You have everything you need to create the life you desire. Your future is shaped by the decisions you make today. You are worthy of the breakthrough you're about to experience, and it's waiting for you on the other side of that first step. So let me ask you, what's the first thing you'll do today to claim your breakthrough? Will you step forward into a life of purpose and possibility? The choice is yours. Now is your time. Take that step. Your future awaits.